Good morning, everybody. Tech May here, and I am here today to tell you about my 2-year review. December 11th, I have officially been at the shop I have been at for 2 years, and let me tell you, it has been quite the ride. So I guess let's just get into it. 2 years ago, I decided to quit my job at a bank and do nothing. I wasn't happy there. And I don't know why, I thought the best thing to do was to quit and do nothing. I had just graduated school, so I was kind of studying for what I was doing then. And after a couple of days, I was just completely bored. I know some of you guys know this story, but I know a lot of you guys don't. So one of the girls that I worked at the bank with, her husband, was a mechanic at the shop I'm at now. And he was like, look, if you're that bored, I can go talk to the manager and see if you can come change oil just to, do something until you find out what you want to do. And I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do that. So I went in, I talked to the manager. Good guy. I am very grateful for him. I will always be grateful for him. I tell him that every time I sit down and talk to him. He took a chance on me. I literally knew nothing. And I told him that. I was flat out. I was like, look, I've changed my own oil one time with my brother-in-law in my driveway. That's the only thing I've ever done. And he was like, okay, can you start Monday? And I was like, I gotta start Tuesday. But anyway, that's a different story. So I started the next week. And starting out, when I say I knew nothing, I literally knew nothing. Like I said, I had just done an oil change one time in my driveway with my brother-in-law, and that was because I begged him to teach me how to do it. I didn't know how to set a rack. I hardly knew where an oil pan was. And I was nervous. I didn't want to mess something up. This is somebody's car, like it's not something that's cheap. So yeah, I didn't know anything. Like, I literally knew nothing. And to look back as to what I knew then and what I know now, it is absolutely crazy to me. Granted, I am not anywhere near being, the best of anything, because I'm not anywhere near ready to go flat rate or anything. But, I am learning. I am learning every day. I now know how to set a rack. I know how to do an oil change pretty much with my eyes closed. Depending on what kind of car it is anyway. I don't take that seriously. I would never do anything with my eyes closed. But, I'm getting into bigger jobs every day. One of the techs sold a timing chain job the other day. I don't even remember what it was on. An Equinox, I think. And he was like, hey, why don't you start tearing this apart? It'd be an easy one to learn on. I'm like, okay, cool. And I was with him through it. Now, I didn't do the whole thing by myself at all, not nearly, but I did do a decent amount of it, and he let me help. If you would have asked me to do that 2 years ago, I would have probably cried and be like, I don't know what a timing chain is. But, I can do brakes proficiently. I can do pretty much all suspension parts. Before, I didn't know how to shake down the front end to see if there was any loose parts. I was scared crapless to drive onto our alignment rack, and that is partly because the first alignment rack we had kind of like, I don't want to call it a wall, but you couldn't really fall off because you would hit the side first. It was just a little lip, I guess you'd say. Well, then we got a new alignment rack, and there was nothing preventing you from falling off, which doesn't sound like a big deal to anybody, but it's a big deal to you? I'm sorry, I didn't know it was a big deal to you, Willow. Excuse my dog, she's kind of a sassy. She's extra sassy today. So I never actually got taught properly how to drive onto our alignment rack, how to line myself up, until I got put with the guy who did transmissions and everything like that. But that's all good now. I have no problem getting on and off and just about it. Sorry about that. My dog had to go out, hence why she was being sassy with me. I think we left off about the alignment rack. I get on, do checks fine. I've even started doing more alignments, toe sets. I can do pretty well. I'm getting into camber and caster and all that stuff. Those are a little harder, obviously. But, with things like that, it just takes practice. And I'm definitely getting the practice in that I need. So, a lot of people ask me, what's it like being a female tech, if you would call me a tech? I definitely have had struggles. It was weird being the only female in the shop. Luckily, I would like to think I'm a pretty easy person to get along with, and I kind of vibe really well with people. Like, I kind of just feed off their energy and stuff. So the guy that I was first put with, we vibed real well. He's one of my best friends now. No problems there. He was the first one to, obviously he had to work with me every day, so we had to click quickly or not. Then the other tech his wife got me to talk to him to get the job. I'd hanging out with him a couple times outside of work because of her, so he knew me, and he was the one who was like, look, you need to ask questions. If you don't understand something, you need to ask. We would rather you ask dumb questions to us, or what you would think would be dumb that really aren't dumb, than completely mess something up, So, and I think that's part of the reason why I do ask so many questions that I do ask, whether I already know them or not, sometimes just to get the clarification, is because of him. So, I do ask a lot of questions, and I think that has to start out with, he's the one who taught me to do that. So I knew the tech I was working with, and I knew him. The other techs kind of shied away from me, which I get. We're all good. I don't want to say we're all good friends, but we all talk, we all laugh together. Nobody really avoids me now. And I don't even want to say they avoided me before, but it was just, oh man, we got a female in the shop. We got to watch what we say. We got to watch what we do. They didn't want any sexual harassment complaints, anything like that. And I completely understand. Like, looking back at it now, it is such, I don't even know how to say it, but having a female in the shop just does change the shop chemistry. And it's because you say one wrong thing and somebody takes it the wrong way. And this isn't even with a female. This really could be with anybody. You say something and they take it the wrong way. You can get fired for that. I mean, it is what it is. But no, I'm not like that. I laugh and joke with them. I have a dirty sense of humor. I have a sailor's mouth, just as bad as any of them. But obviously I had to show that to them first before they just kind of continued with how the shop flowed before. So now they all understand that I am literally one of them. Some of those guys are my best friends now. So that was kind of hard, and that is probably one of the main reasons why I haven't left my shop. I love my shop. It's just kind of far away from my house. That's my only reason why I would leave right now. I drive 45 minutes to work every day, which kind of sucks, but it's really not that bad. So 45 each way. But I don't want to have to go through that awkward phase of people being standoffish to me because I'm a female, and there's a stigma behind female mechanics. And it's dumb, but I get it. I don't know. So there were struggles with that. I think more of the struggle for me, though, was I literally went in knowing nothing. Like, I didn't know anything. And I will be the first person to admit that. I have no problem admitting that. Why would I lie to anybody? Why would I lie to somebody about something that I know I don't know when they literally do it for a living? That doesn't make sense to me. But, I don't know. So that was probably the harder part, is learning something I've never done before. But with time, they were patient with me. We had a couple other kids we had one kid, the other ones are gone now, that started about the same time as me, and he had an auto class in high school, so he thought he knew everything. Now, there is quite an age difference between me and this kid. I think there's 7 years. Let's see, 2 years ago, I was 24, and he was 17. Yeah, he couldn't even drive the cars there because he had to be 18 to drive at our shop. And he literally thought he knew everything. And the techs didn't want him working on stuff with him or stuff like that because he would literally be like, okay, the text would explain how you do that. And he'll go, are you sure? And I'm so, oh, how are you going to say that to somebody? But yeah, my 2-year review, it's been crazy. It's been a wild ride. There's been a lot of ups and downs. I've broken a couple things, which the first thing I ever broke, I was like a month into it. It took me a while for them to get me to be able to drive because they had to go through their insurance and stuff. And the managers just, like, I was able to drive like 2 weeks before, but he forgot to tell me that I got like approved. So I had been there for like 2.5 months, but I'd only been driving for a month maybe. And I pull an old truck into a wreck, and I wasn't quite there. You open the door a little bit to see where your tire is, to see if you're lined up. Well, I was too far. Tried to back up a little bit. Well, I left the door open, which it's so stupid thinking about it now. And I caught the mirror on the rack, and I was like, oh, great. I literally thought I was gonna get fired right then and there. But then once I realized the tech I was working with wasn't freaking out, it kind of calmed me down because I was literally like, great, I've only been here for a little bit. I just broke something. I'm gonna get fired. But I was relatively lucky though. We did have the shop did purchase the guy a new mirror. And it ended up being like $20, and because when I say it was an old truck, it was literally just it was an 80s or 90s. I don't even remember now. It's been a while, but It was literally just 3 bolts, bolt on, bolt off. And ever since then, I've been extremely careful. I was extremely careful before. I just made a dumb mistake. And that happens to everybody. If you can go through your entire career saying you never broke anything or anything, you're lying. Sorry about it. You're lying. You can be as careful as you want. Things break. It happens. You just got to admit to it. So I've broken a couple more things. So that's the one that stands out the most because obviously that was the first thing that's ever happened to me. Have I lost tools? Yeah, I've lost a couple. Not many. I lost a 10 ratcheting wrench, and I'm pretty sure I remember what car it was. It was a bus that came in that I had to change a battery out for somebody, and then after that I never saw my 10 ratcheting wrench again, so I no longer have a 10 wrench. I lost a 15 socket and an 18 socket, and I remember both cars very well, where I lost them on. But besides that, I've never lost like a 10 mil socket, which I know that's like everybody loses a 10 mil, so I need to knock on some wood. I've never lost one. I'm pretty good about keeping track of my tools, what tools I have. I put them back at the end of the night, which is kind of annoying to have to get them out again if I'm doing a job that stays overnight. But yeah, that's kind of my two-year review. Maybe if I remember in another year, I will watch this video again and be like, wow, I was naive, or wow, I know so much more, or wow, nothing's really changed. I can definitely do something like that. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about anything, please ask. I have no problem sharing my story. It's unique, I think, anyway. So, yeah, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Man, I'm struggling talking today. I very much appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them below. It's always a pleasure talking to you guys. Not only do the guys I work with teach me stuff, but talking to you guys about tools, I realize I don't know anything about tools. You guys can just rattle off part numbers like nothing. I'm like, I got this. I show you a picture of what I have. But no, I do appreciate everything everybody's said to me or taught me or anything like that. So please leave comments. Please like my video. Please subscribe. Please share. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. I hope you have a great weekend.